What's good, everyone? It's Limitech Reviews here. In this video, we'll be discussing the iPhone 7 in 2020 and whether it's still worth buying this phone. We're going to be talking about the technical specifications and how it compares to the newer phones, and if you are a current iPhone 7 user, whether you should consider the upgrade. So the iPhone 7, released back in September of 2016, brought the A10 Fusion chip and 2 GB of RAM. The 7 Plus, the bigger model of the iPhone 7, brought 3 GB of RAM, and also brought the telephoto lens. The iPhone 7 was infamous for removing the headphone jack. So you guys could see, there is no headphone jack on the iPhone 7. And since this phone released back in September of 2016, no iPhone has had a headphone jack. So a lot of people were mad at the time, but now most of us are using AirPods or wireless earphones. So I'm not sure if it matters as much today in 2020. So in terms of its design, the iPhone 7 does come with the older fashioned iPhone design with the home button and the bezels. But the good thing is that the 7 came out with an aluminum backing. So the aluminum back was a little bit less susceptible to damage, and it also created this more stealthy look. But as you guys can see, I have used this phone without a case, and there is some minor weird markings here and there around the phone. So if I can get the camera to focus, you guys can see the weird marks. And there's some scratches, and around the corners I have dropped it a lot, so there is some paint chips. But really, considering again how many times I've dropped it, this phone has held up incredibly well. The camera lens looks pretty much new. It really hasn't taken that much of a damage, so I always liked that about the 7 series. They were very durable smartphones. But one disadvantage again is not only the older design, but the 7 does not have wireless charging. So if you are needing wireless charging, you're going to need to have at least an iPhone 8 or newer. Those were the first iPhones to have wireless charging, but the 7 does not have wireless charging. The iPhone 7 came with IP67 water resistance, so this was the first IP rated iPhone. So if you do like submerge this in water, it should be fine, but not for a while. So if you do leave it in like for a long time underwater, it could probably get damaged, but it still does have some water resistance. So you can stay assured that your 7 will still be alright in case you do drop it. In terms of the colors, there's been 6 colors for the iPhone 7. So this matte black that I'm carrying here, there was also a rose gold colorway. There was a red for a certain time. It was very limited. There was also a gold, silver, and a jet black. So 6 colorways for the iPhone 7. And it came with plenty. And that was very interesting because most of the time, Apple does leave their flagship phones more of a muted colorway. So just like silver or black or something like that. But the 7 series got a lot of colorways, so you do have a lot of options to pick from, which is always nice. So in terms of the camera, you do get a 12 megapixel rear camera and a 7 megapixel front camera. And so the rear camera can record up to 4K 30 frames per second, and the front camera can only record up to 1080p. So one thing you do get as a benefit is on iOS 14, you do have the choice to switch the quality. So you can switch the quality of the iPhone, so you can record it, change it to 4K, or you can just change it to 1080p, 1080p 60. So that is also a great option that you do get, but this is only available on iOS 14. So previously this was only limited to the iPhone 11 series, but now you do have it on this older device like the iPhone 7. So again, in terms of camera quality wise, it is still good in 2020. It is plenty adequate for 2020. I just do wish it had a little bit more versatility. So that's where the 7 Plus does come in. The 7 Plus does have a telephoto lens, so you do get more zoom in. So if you are trying to zoom in, you get to zoom in deeper into the object, but you won't be sacrificing as much quality as you will with the smaller 7. So that is the disadvantage you get with the smaller 7. But also, you do get the portrait mode on the 7 Plus, which is still great. You have that option, but the 7 Plus portrait mode has been improved by quite a bit. So that's something to keep in mind about. In terms of lighting and everything like that, as long as you're in good lighting, you're gonna get very good pictures out of the iPhone 7. But if you are in lower light situations, the pictures could be pretty terrible. And I'll just show you the photo and video samples here. Video recording is still very good here on the iPhone 7, shockingly well. And yeah, so hope you guys check this out. In terms of its performance, it's got the A10 Fusion chip, and it is plenty fast and it scrolls very fast. As you guys can see, the iPhone 7 is still fast in 2020. Compared to newer phones, yes, the newer phones are faster than this iPhone 7, but you're barely going to notice the difference most of the time, especially if you only open up like social media. You don't really do that much. With your iPhone, this thing still opens up apps very quickly. No one's going to be complaining about it. That's one thing that's great to see. In terms of Geekbench scores, you will see in terms of the CPU, got 745 and 1385. So for the single core, 745. For the multi-core, 1385. Here, I got 3157. For the compute. In terms of Geekbench, the scores, they're not the highest, but in the real world, this thing still performs plenty fast for most people. So if you open up a game like Geometry Dash, you will see that it loads it up pretty quickly. So it isn't super slow at all. It's still decently quick in 2020. That is a great thing to see, as you can get this phone for plenty cheap, which I'll discuss in a little bit later. Now, one major disadvantage of the iPhone 7, I think this is probably the biggest disadvantage of this phone, is the battery life. The iPhone 7 only has a 1960 milliamp hour battery, so that is pretty small by 2020 standards. So if you are going to get the 7, you're probably going to want to get a battery case like this one. Now, I don't really use this one that much anymore, but you're going to need to have like a battery case, or you're going to need like a portable charger. So if you do not have a portable charger or a smart battery case, then you're probably having problems. So this is why this phone is only good for light to medium users. Heavy users, stay away from this phone, and I'd recommend something like an iPhone XR or iPhone 11 if you do want good battery life. Another advantage you do get going with the iPhone 7 is the audio. So if you are looking at an older iPhone or iPhone 7, this is definitely an advantage you're going to get, especially since this was the first phone to remove the headphone jack. So since it did remove the headphone jack, it did usher in stereo speakers. So that's one great thing to see from this device. And it sounds much better than anything that came before the iPhone 7. So the audio wise, this is still great. So the audio sample. What it sounds like when I block the bottom.
Yeah, you don't give a damn about what I do. You think you're the coolest. Who would ever wanna be like you? You left my heart in pain.
So audio is still pretty nice on the iPhone 7. Now, a common question that's been asked about the iPhone 7 is how long will this phone last? So the iPhone 7 released back in September of 2016. I do believe that there's a couple more years left. I'll say 2 to 3 more years for the iPhone 7. So expect to go up to iOS 15 or maybe even iOS 16. We'll have to see when time comes. But for now, this phone will still be staying updated for a couple more years. And that is great to see. Now, in terms of pricing, the iPhone 7 costs around $150 to $200, depending on the gig size, the color, or the carrier you get this for. So it really depends on where you're going to get it from, but it is plenty cheap for this device considering the amount of features you do get. Now, should you buy the iPhone 7 in 2020? And I say yes. I preferably the 7 Plus, because the 7 Plus does have a bigger display. You get a 5.5 inch display, then this 4.7 inch display. The 4.7 inch is kind of small in 2020, but the bigger display is better for video watching or just content consumption. The iPhone 7 Plus is better for that. Also, the 7 Plus has a better battery life than the 7. So the biggest complaint that I got here with the 7 is the battery life. This does die pretty fast, considering my iPhone 7 is degraded, and the battery health is at around 86%. Mixed in with me running this iOS 14 beta, it is bad on the iPhone 7, the battery life. So if you do want better battery life out of the 7 series, get the 7 Plus. You get a bigger battery and a bigger display, so the 7 Plus I think is the better option here. But if you can't afford it, because the 7 Plus is a little bit more money than the 7, then get the 7. The 7 is still a plenty good device in 2020. Now, if you are a current iPhone 7 owner, should you upgrade? And that really depends on your situation. Now, if you are happy with the iPhone 7 and how it served you for the past couple years, then you'll be fine sticking with it. It's still going to be getting iOS updates, and it still performs well. So the iPhone 7, I think you can still hold on to. But if you are looking for a little bit more newer, modern phone, and you do want better battery life, then I'd say the iPhone like 11 or 10s, or even the 11 Pro or the upcoming iPhone 12 is a good option to upgrade from the 7. So I'd say get one of those devices. I was interested in revisiting the iPhone 7 because this is an older iPhone now in 2020, but it does hold up plenty well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Every subscriber is appreciated. Thank you guys, and peace.